How you doing? This is Jay Corey with Sit Down, still in London, England right now, representing Sit Down worldwide. Just to let you know, right now I'm in the art studio of one of London's famous artists. Made it really big in the 1960s with rock and a lot of different things he was doing. His name's Michael McInnerney. And right now he's designing a piece for one of our shirts in our clothesline, the Sit Down clothesline, which we'll make available for you as soon as it's ready. Put it in the stores and let you check that out. It's for our design called No Ball Hogs, and it's looking really good so far. So I just want you all to be really excited about it. And we're going to do a short little interview so you get to know him a little bit. Once again, his name is Michael McInnerney, and I just call him Uncle Mike. All right, so Uncle Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, greetings from London. My name is Mike McInnerney. I'm in the 60s a psychedelic artist. I also created artworks for record covers. I also created artworks for magazines, illustrations for books. I've been doing it for 40 odd years. Still do it, enjoy it, and at the moment I've got a commission to do a hog for Sit Down, which I'm really looking forward to. You excited about that one? Very excited. I'm looking forward to making a hog that works well on the chest, on a t-shirt.
I like it. I'm sure people back home is going to love this design. We already had some people saying how much they like the idea and the concept, so I know you're just going to bring it alive with your artistic, unique artistic designs and whatnot. So tell me, you look very, like you've been interviewed before. You look very confident right now. Let us know a little bit about who in the past might have interviewed you.
Well, Murray Lerner interviewed me for the Who's recent film, Amazing Journey, which is a feature film that went out in all the cinemas and onto DVDs.
Oh, wow.
Which is the story of the band and my part in that story of the band with the Tommy cover, which I did through my friendship with Pete Townsend. I've been interviewed by rock and roll journals like Mojo magazine, Ulysses magazine in Japan.
Wow.
And those interviews have been about rock and roll items, posters, record covers, such as The Who's Tommy. I did psychedelic posters in the 60s, advertising psychedelic bands. But I've done a lot of other things, including textile designs and magazine editorial illustration, book covers, a wide range of stuff.
Wow. So what got you into the classic rock art and all that?
Well, I think that was to do with being young and liking rock and roll. And being part of the psychedelic scene in the 60s, there was a lot of bands that were blues-based bands, rock and roll bands that were suddenly shifting gear and turning into psychedelic bands. Even the Rolling Stones and the Who were starting to produce kind of psychedelic music. Well, I was attached to a counterculture scene at the time. We were running clubs and running a newspaper, and we had connections with, and we just hung out with the rock and roll musicians at the time.
Oh, like which rock musicians did you hang out with?
Oh, Rod Stewart, The Faces, Pete Townsend, the Who, Mick Jagger, Paul McCartney.
Wow.
We just used to meet up in people's apartments or in clubs. It was a small scene, so it was quite easy to sort of meet up with these people and share ideas and share the culture of that time, which was basically a popular music, pop music, rock and roll kind of culture in a counterculture that I was involved in.
Wow, that's amazing. So, where were you born at? Actually, were you born in England?
I was born in Liverpool.
Okay.
1944.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just at the end of the war. So I was a war baby.
Oh wow.
And so when we came to the 60s, we war babies wanted to celebrate freedoms. And
wow, was life rough? Living in that time?
It wasn't easy. In the 50s in England, there wasn't the kind of we had rationing. It was a kind of difficult time.
Wow.
But we celebrated the kind of freedoms that were won in the Second World War by creating the kind of counterculture and the youth culture of the late 50s and early 60s. There was a generation that came through. A previous generation picked up guns and had to fight wars.
Wow.
But our generation picked up guitars and played.
Man, that's amazing. Hey, love, not war, right?
Yeah. But we benefited, and we respect that generation that went and fought against the Nazis and fought for freedoms and the rights that we enjoy.
I'm sure the musicians of that time had a lot of real issues to talk about in their music.
Yeah, there was a lot. In the 60s, there were all kinds of issues coming up which were global. The environment was certainly one of them. The politics at the time, the establishment. I think there was pretty much every young person was not very happy with the politics at the time.
Right.
And there were gay rights, there was feminism, there was a lot of issues.
Wow, I'm sure a lot going on. Well, what was your artistic influences? Like, what artists influenced you to even get into art? I mean, what got you into it?
Oh, gosh, that's a very big question. I mean, certainly at the time, I was very much into op art, which was a kind of like, I suppose it was the kind of art that if you were taking drugs would really be, you would really see. And they were illusions. They were playing with pattern and illusion. And it was called optical art, so it affected the eye in interesting ways. And I was into pattern, I was into Islamic art, I was into surrealism. There's a range of different kinds of art movements.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, were there any particular artists that stood out above all of them, or?
Well, there may be names that people won't know about, but there were English artists like Bridget Riley, and there were South American sculptors who were doing kinetic art, movement art, and Paris-based artists. The counterculture had an interest in things that were going on in America, New York, and the West Coast. They're interested in things that were going on in Berlin, in Germany, that were going on in Paris. It was quite cosmopolitan.
Wow. So, other than being an artist, have you ever taught it to anybody? Or?
Yes, yeah, I've taught over about 30-odd years on a part-time basis. I started an illustration course in Lucerne in Switzerland, creative illustration.
Wow.
And they're good students. They were good illustrators.
Oh yeah, like what schools were you?
It was the Hochschule für Gestaltung und Kunst in Lucerne in Germany, in Lucerne in Switzerland.
I'll try not to go ahead and repeat the name of that school.
But yes, so it's the Hochschule for Design and Art in Lucerne in Switzerland. Bath Academy of Art in Bath in England. I taught on degree level illustration courses.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Definitely interesting. I can't wait to see what you come out with on this No Ball Hogs. I'm really.
Yes, I am kind of keen to see how it'll go. But I think hogs are interesting animals, and I hope to make this hog look a bit dangerous and look exciting on the T-shirt, because no ball hogs is a very important message. To take that to the world.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule.
You're welcome, my dear nephew. And if they're interested, they can go to my website, which is mikemckinnerney.com.